Hi guys, Jess FPL here, welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'll be talking you guys through the Game Week 4 team selection and my transfer plans for the upcoming game weeks. How did I do in Game Week 3, so my Game Week 3 preview, and a lot to talk about. Let's jump right into it. So first, my Game Week 4 review, my Game Week 3 review, and I scored total of 47 points, which was a red arrow, so down to 1.25 million. It wasn't the best game week, of course. As you can see here around my team, I did bring in Cucurella and Pascal Gross for Perisic and Pedro Neto. Now, I could say the transfers were successful, but again, Perisic did score a 12-pointer, and to be fair, I read the quote wrong from Conte. I think most people did, and assuming that he won't start, and we were wrong, and he did go on and start that game. He got his assist, got the bonus points, and he did punish us owners that score game. So it was just really disappointing to see, and for me, I really regret that transfer. And if I were to look into more detail and kept Perisic, could have been a different story. But that was the past, and we have to move on from things like these. It is FPL, and these things happen, so we can't go back and change things. So I still really happy with Cucurella. Not like he didn't put in a great performance. He did play well. He was getting advanced. He was getting chances against Leeds, and I was quite happy with him. And it was surprising to see Chelsea, Cucurella not get a return. Now Chelsea did disappoint us in that match, 3-0 down to Leeds. And to be fair, it was just that first mistake. When Mendy conceded, they just wasn't in the mood to get back, and then Leeds just punished them. So 3-0 defeat. But again, I'm not gonna panic, because last week we were saying that we were gonna jump onto Chelsea assets because they were so dominant against Spurs. This week they lose, and I still think they are a top team, and they will come back stronger. James, another 1-pointer as well, but still they are looking quite advanced. And even if James is playing right centre back and Cucurella is playing left centre back, either one, they will be advanced, because when they're attacking, it looks like a back four, and then they will get up the pitch. So I'm not really disappointed with them, but of course we would want them to play a wing back that is more advanced. And then Liverpool, disappointing, a 2-1 defeat to Manchester United. Trent with 0 points, Robertson with 1. The midfield of Liverpool was just very poor from them, and it was a poor performance. They did dominate and control the game, but they didn't create enough chances and didn't take their chances to score. So a very disappointing result. And for the first 3 game weeks, my Liverpool players are not living up to the expectations. If you could say, Robertson again went down in price, but Mohamed Salah did not disappoint. A goal and 16 points. Really happy with what he managed to do for me. Martinelli, Jesus, and Ramsdale, it was again a really good performance from Arsenal. A win, getting the clean sheet for Ramsdale. Martinelli looking really good as well, getting a goal, and Jesus an assist, but could have been more for Gabriel Jesus. Moving on to the bench, Ward, 1-pointer, Andreas Pereira, 8 points. He played well, and Fulham looking like a really good team this season so far. That could change, but currently they look quite strong. Bailly, he did start and pick up the assist, so that's something to keep an eye for. And Archer, 4.5 mil. He didn't start, but he did get some minutes in the Carabao Cup, but that's not important. He didn't start this game. It's a 4.5 forward option. So let's move on to the Game Week 4 team selection and transfer plans. So moving on to this game week, I have 1 free transfer, 0.1 in the bank, and looking to roll the transfer. So let's go through my team first. Starting off in goal with Aaron Ramsdale. Ramsdale plays Fulham at home, a great fixture, and no plans to sell him. He played really well in the first 3 game weeks, getting me 2 clean sheets and of course 1-pointer. And again, another fixture, I fully expect a clean sheet. Of course, Fulham are a good side, and they looked really well in the first few game weeks, drawing to Liverpool, beating Brentford. So they could be a really dangerous side, but of course they are playing an Arsenal side who's also looking really well in the start and looked very dominant. So hopefully another clean sheet for Ramsdale here, and if he can get one, it will be looking like a very good first few game weeks for Arsenal and Ramsdale. So another clean sheet could be good, and I really expect another clean sheet because Ramsdale and Arsenal are playing really well currently. Moving on to my defense, starting off with Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I have no thoughts to sell him. he still will stay in my team. And maybe, you know, if I were looking to sell him, I wouldn't start selling ahead of Bournemouth at home. Bournemouth, a poor team in general, attacking wise, defensive wise, they look really poor. And to be fair, the worst team in the league, arguably. Bournemouth, they were very poor. And Trent, of course, Liverpool, they were really disappointing to watch in the first 3 games. But again, that won't continue, and I still think, I will say again, I still think Liverpool will come back stronger and they will start to get their results going their way. So Bournemouth at home, a really good fixture on paper for Liverpool, and I fully expect clean sheet because the Bournemouth team, underlying data, everything just don't look really well. So hopefully a clean sheet, it's almost like a guaranteed clean sheet unless Liverpool makes a mistake. But Trent, his data is still the best in the defense. He has the best underlying data between the defenders, so it's just a matter of time he gets his returns, and there's no plans to sell him. Next is Robertson. Now this one is a bit more, you know, we could think a bit more to sell Robertson because this one is a bit more, maybe more like something to sell him because he did look poor and he was taken off against Manchester United, and not just Manchester United, he got taken off in the 84th minute. Against Crystal Palace, he got taken off in the 62nd minute, and he did play the full 90 against Fulham. So his minutes, he is starting to come off for Tsimikas, and that could be a bit worrying, but still, he will stay in my team for this week. Maybe one last chance before I look to take the money out of him and spend it elsewhere, but currently, I have no plans to sell him as well because a great fixture ahead of him, and even some very good fixtures coming up for Liverpool. They have Newcastle next week, not the best fixture, but still a great fixture in general. Everton and then Wolves, so certainly some points to get from Robertson, and certainly a lot of potential to get attacking returns in those games. So Robertson, maybe I will give him one more game week, maybe 2, but currently no plans to sell him as well. Maybe I could look for, you know, other options, but currently I won't want to sell him against the ideally the worst team in the league and such a great fixture to target in general. Next is Joao Cancelo, 7.1, Crystal Palace at home. Now Liverpool and Man City did draw that game against Newcastle, but again, you have to remember these results happen, and Newcastle, they were a team we expect to finish in the top 7, you know, up there fighting for Europe, and they just proved that they will be a tough team to break down. So now that's out of the way, another fixture, Crystal Palace, which isn't the easiest fixture. Of course, Crystal Palace are a very strong team. They are one of the best defense last year, so they will be still a very strong defense. And Cancelo against them, a Man City side, whereby we have to know that Man City are of the best teams in England, if not the best team. So they will get their results here and there. And for me, Crystal Palace is a game that I also expect a clean sheet from, and Cancelo to get some attacking returns as well. Now, he did get technically 3 returns so far this season. Of course, the clean sheet, the assist in game week 2, and another clean sheet in game week 1. So he did, you know, get some points, and I'm really happy. It just shows that he will still be a great option. And after this game, they have Nottingham Forest at home, Aston Villa away, which looked so shaky. They weren't looking that good in general. So another fixture to target. So a great round of fixtures ahead for Joao Cancelo, and no plans to sell him currently. Next is Reece James. Now, this is slightly worrying because he could start at right centre back again for Chelsea, as Koulibaly has been sent off and he will be suspended. So there are only few options at the centre back position for Chelsea. So it is slightly worrying for us owners, and especially when I'm doubling up, they will have Thiago Silva, Azpilicueta, Chalobah. So it's just quite a few, and I expect Thiago Silva and probably Azpilicueta to cover, and maybe either James or Cucurella playing as left centre back or right centre back. So either one, if not both, could play there, but for tactical reasons, I don't think they both will play there. So Reece James, I think he will either start as right centre back or right wing back. It's fully up to the manager, and I don't see Reece James and Cucurella starting there because they're not natural centre backs, and Chelsea will want to have at least 2 of them. So one of them, I think, will start the centre back spot, and it's either James or Cucurella, and I'm really quite happy to own both of them because either one will play as a wing back, and if they are playing as a wing back, they will look attacking, they will look like dangerous up front, as we saw that against Leeds. With Cucurella, he was getting into dangerous situations, taking shots, and it was quite disappointing to not see him get away with something in the game. So either one, if one of them starts at right wing back, they will come in with a return. I will be confident either a return or even a good performance. So James or Cucurella, I really expect a lot from them. Leicester, their defense is really poor, and certainly a team to target. Their attack, you could say the same, not the best performances in the first few, and they are just looking not really stable and organized, this Leicester team. So certainly a game to target as well. We're going to be doubling up with Cucurella in defense. Again, I said it just now, before we bought Cucurella in, we didn't expect him to start at left wing back every game. Of course, it was a cheap way to go into a top 4 defense, and that is a 5 mils, Chelsea defender, which has the potential to play as a wing back and a centre back. So even if he starts as centre back, I'm not gonna be angry or disappointed, because we did brought him in for that reason, a cheap way into the Chelsea's defense. So if he starts at right wing back again, great, because he will have the potential to score points. But if he starts at left centre back, even I can say this is a great fixture to get a clean sheet, and Leicester look poor in general. So very happy with my defense currently. 5 at the back, I'm still sticking with that. And let's move on to the midfield. Let's start off with Mohamed Salah. Bournemouth at home again. The very weak defense, a very weak attack. Certainly a team to target. And Mohamed Salah, it shows even if Liverpool are in a poor run of form, he will deliver those points. And it's looking like I will captain him again. He's arguably the best option in the game currently. At 13.0, offers again great value, great underlying data, and no plans to sell him. So Salah stays in the team for another week, a great game ahead of him, and certainly a potential to get a lot of points. Next is Martinelli, again 6.4. He just offers so great value, and I think in the next few game weeks he will go up to 6.6, 6.7 if he's consistent with his points. So he did consistently score points in the first few game weeks. Now 6 points against Bournemouth, 8 points against Leicester, and 8 points against Crystal Palace. So he is being very consistent. Assist against Bournemouth, a goal against Leicester, and a goal against Palace. Now he will get the extra point for a clean sheet, so again another good thing for him, and he's playing so lively, so dangerous up front for Arsenal, and it just seems that Arsenal's attack are going through the left side. Zinchenko, Odegaard supporting that side, even Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli. So it's looking like all the attack is going down the left side of the Arsenal team. So another great thing to hear for Martinelli owners, and I think he just offers so great value. Fulham, they are still a poor defense. They did concede 2 to Brentford. They did get the result, but of course their defense has been really shaky at times. So certainly a game team to target for us Martinelli and Arsenal owners. So very happy with him. No plans to sell him currently, but if an injury comes or a poor performance, I could look to sell him. And lastly, Pascal Gross to finish the midfield, 5.7 million, offers great value against Leeds at home. Now Leeds, they are a poor defense, and I will stick to that. They did beat Chelsea, but Chelsea did have some chances. They did have their chances and couldn't convert those chances. So Pascal Gross, a very good Brighton and very organized Brighton side who's looked really well in the start of the season, and I fully expect another great performance from them against Leeds. It will be a tough match as Leeds did pull off a really good performance in the first few games, so it will be a tough match, but certainly Leeds defense are another team to target. So Pascal Gross, he did get an assist in game week 3, and to be fair, he is still playing behind that striker, and we just saw he wasn't on pens. Of course, McAllister did step up and take that penalty, which was something to know, and we weren't really sure if he was certainly on pens, but it was something good to know. But Martinelli, McAllister, he did play all 90 in the first 3 game weeks, so it's looking like Pascal Gross is not on penalties, but even if he's not on pens, he will still be playing behind the striker, and for me, he will still be a great option. No plans to sell him. Leeds at home, a great fixture. Moving on to the forwards now, Erling Harlan, he stays in the team. Crystal Palace at home, arguably a very strong defense, but you have to just remember, Man City are a very strong team, one of the best, if not the best team in the Premier League. They are a solid team, and they will break down any defense. We saw it against Newcastle, scoring 3 past them. I said it, Newcastle was a very strong defense, but they did pull off a great performance. So no plans to sell him, maybe in the upcoming weeks, but Pep did come out and say something about Erling Haaland's minutes. When we are playing one game in 3 days, Julian Alvarez will start, something like that. So We could see rotation in the upcoming weeks, but for me, he will start this game as no-brainer. Erling Harlan, great stats, and he's arguably also one of the best options currently. And to end off the team with Gabriel Jesus, playing Fulham at home, again I did say they are a very weak team. Defensively, of course, their attack looks quite solid, but for a defensive point of view, I certainly expect some attacking returns for Gabriel Jesus. And even if he returns, his ownership is just too high and we won't even get his points. So at this point, it's just playing, protecting my rank with Gabriel Jesus, because I will lose rank if he scores. And not just that, he's such a great option for 8.2 mil and certainly great value at his price point. Moving on to the bench, we have Ward. No plans to sell him. Look, Leicester just look very poor defensively, and against Chelsea, I don't expect much. A great backup in general, but I just see myself starting Ramsdale every week. And then first on my bench, Liam Bailey. Now, I could start him against, Cucurella, Pascal Gross, but no plans for that. I still think he will remain on my bench. I still think he will be a rotation risk. I don't see his minutes secure enough. So a great bench option, maybe just a good cover. But worst case scenario, he comes on. But for me, he will still stay on my bench. Next, Andreas Pereira against Arsenal away. Second on my bench, I still think Bailly will be a better option than him if the worst case scenario happens. But for Andreas Pereira, a great bench option as well. And lastly, Cameron Archer. Again, another great bench option. 4.5. Great value as well. Now, this is my team. Let me move you through my team and my transfer plans for the upcoming weeks. So the captaincy, I forgot to say, Mo Salah gets the captaincy. It's a no-brainer. He gets the extra 1 point for a goal compared to Haaland or Jesus. He gets the extra 1 point for the clean sheet. And it's just looking very good of a fixture against Bournemouth. They look very poor recently, and I just fully expect Liverpool to better Bournemouth. And the vice captaincy is going to be on Gabriel Jesus. Let's say Salah, something happens and come the deadline, but no plans. Jesus, he gets the vice captaincy. Now let's move on to the transfer plans. So this is a sheet, a column I made for the transfer plans. Now red is looking to sell, not the last chance, but maybe poor performances. Yellow is a short term to hold to my wildcard. Quite happy with them. And then just green is a structure players, great value, offer great value, and just for the great structure, no plans to sell. So that's the white part is my bench. And Cancelo, look, City, great defense, very attacking. I have no plans to sell him to my wildcard. Jesus as well offers great value, great fixtures. Same to Martinelli. And then Salah, he's just the must own. Ramsdale, keeper, maybe I swap my keeper, but that's just a waste of transfers, so no plans to do that. Now I put Haaland in the red section because Pep did come out and say if we are playing games every 3 days, he will play Julian Alvarez, and that is worrying because they do play Nottingham Forest is a midweek fixture, so that we could see some rotation. But let's say best case scenario, he gets 70 minutes against Crystal Palace, maybe come off the bench, maybe 30 minutes against Nottingham, and then 60 minutes against Aston Villa. But the worst case scenario could be he gets 90 minutes against Crystal Palace, and then doesn't play against Nottingham, and then gets 45 minutes against Aston Villa. So we could see a lot of difference here, and I could look to go for Erling Harlan, and I could look to go for Harry Kane. I will show you guys my transfer targets later on. So currently, these are the columns. Robertson, it's a last chance in my team. If he gets something here, great. But if he doesn't, a poor performance, or if Liverpool win, and I could look to keep him. But if he's playing poorly, I really see why not. Klopp won't start Tsimikas ahead of him, as he's also a great option. So currently, probably a last chance in my team, but for great performance, he could drop to the yellow part. And then Trent, again, is slightly concerning, but still, I have no worries. He's a great player, great value. His stats look great. No plans to sell him. Pascal Gross, maybe if I want to move on to a Rodrigo or a Harrison, and maybe I have only a few money in the bank, not that much to upgrade Liam Bailey, and I could look to upgrade him, but again, great fixtures, great underlying data, no plans to sell him, just bought him in. James, again, maybe if he starts 3 games in a row, right centre back, and then we see Loftus-Cheek, secure down that right wing back position, but still, James, he will stay in my team. Unless an injury comes, he will be still there. He looks very lively at right wing back, and if he starts there, certainly some attacking returns. And Cucurella, just brought him in, and I just regret that decision because for Perisic, I could have had Perisic against Nottingham Forest away, but that is what it is, and these mistakes happen. Cucurella, I'm still happy with him. Great fixtures coming up as well for Chelsea, and certainly has the potential to get attacking returns if he starts at left wing back. So this is the structure. Let's look at my transfer targets. This is the another column I made, which is my transfer targets I'm looking at, and through the defenders I have Estupinan, a new signing for Brighton, and they were saying he is the new Cucurella, but I will take a few game weeks to watch him. He's just on my watch list. Brighton, great fixtures, and then Dunk, he just offers good goal threat if he goes forward, and again another player to target and potentially bring in the upcoming weeks. But currently I'm happy with my defense. Let's say I'm not happy with Robertson, I could downgrade to one of these, and Saliba, a great option. Now 4.6 and 4.5 between him and White, not much of a difference. Maybe Saliba, he nails down the centre back role, but still White is also a great option. 0.1 cheaper if if I'm urgently need that 0.1, could go for Ben White. Saliba, I do have triple Arsenal, and unless I look to sell off them, I won't look to Saliba. And then in midfield, I have Harrison, Rodrigo, Zaha, and Gundogan and Foden. Now, the City boys, I could look to go for them. I'm looking to downgrade Erling Harlan and go for one of those. Maybe upgrade my midfielder, Erling Bay, to a Harrison, Rodrigo, Zaha, Gundogan, and Foden. Even downgrade Robertson and upgrade one of these. So there is potential, and between Harrison and Rodrigo, I do like Harrison. His stats look quite good, but of course Rodrigo is the obvious one to go to, and certainly one I don't plan to target in the upcoming weeks. They do play a really solid Brighton side who's looked really well this season, organized. So maybe I'll take a few weeks. Maybe this week I look and assess how Leeds play against Brighton, because after that, Everton, Brentford, Nottingham United, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, certainly fixtures there to target. And then Zaha, he's on the watch list. No plans to sign him this week, but potentially again another player to bring in the upcoming weeks, as Crystal Palace do have quite decent fixtures until game week 7 to 9, where they do play Brentford, Newcastle United, and Brighton. Certainly some potential there. The fixtures not that great, but also quite decent. And then Gundogan and Foden, 0.5 separating them. Foden, I just feel there is a chance he gets rotated. I think Gundogan will be the more secured one, but they both look great and certainly want to keep an eye for. Now forwards, I could side grade and go to Harry Kane, which I've looked to do so in game week 5 and 6, but that is when Kane fixtures does get poor. So currently I don't look to side grade to them. If I were to sell Haaland, I would downgrade Haaland to a Tony or Awoniyi. But currently Tony is also on my watch list because he has great fixtures until game 7 to 9. Certainly a player to target. Everton at home this week, another game we could watch Tony punish players, people who don't own him. So certainly want to own. And then it's more interesting one, Gw4 Moore. He did start all the games and did play 90 minutes in both of them, and did go around the 86th minute for the third game. So Gw4 Moore, 5.5, certainly a budget option if I were to look there at Bournemouth. The fixtures do get quite slightly better in the upcoming weeks, but currently just want to watch as well, if he offers great value. Stansford, if I plan to burn and transfer, let's say next week I have 2 transfers and my team looks really well, I don't plan to make transfer, could go Archer to Stansford because he did play in game week 3, he did get some minutes, and that is looking quite good for a 4.5 mil forward, because Stansford, Brighton, they don't have much options up front, and he did get an assist, 76 minutes. Certainly want to keep an eye out for, but I just don't see myself side grading unless I need to burn that transfer. And then Awoniyi, again 5.9 mil. He did score against West Ham, and I was talking a lot about him at the start of the season. His stats were so good in the Bundesliga, and certainly bought that over quite decent for 5.9. And after he had Tottenham and Man City in game week 4 and 5, but after that, Bournemouth, Leeds, Fulham, Leicester, and Aston Villa. Certainly fixtures to target. After that, maybe the long term, but just want to keep my eye on. So guys, this is the watch list for the virtual game weeks. This week I plan to roll my transfer to the next week, as we have midweek fixtures coming up. You know, the Champions League draw will be announced for, later on today, so there will be a lot happening, and with two free transfers going into those midweek games, it will just be so good. In, you know, if you get injury news, rotation news, just great to have two free transfers. So planning to roll the transfer. These are the players I'm keeping an eye on, and it's been me, Jess FPL. I'll see you guys in the next one.